Good morning on this very rainy day, my rogue readers. My name is Erin Rogoff, and welcome back to my booktube channel, where today we will be reviewing Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates, who is one of my favorite authors of all time. Voices in the Snow is a gothic fiction horror mystery thriller novel, and it is book one of the Black Winter series. And in that series, we have I have basically every other book that Darcy Coates has written, but I would recommend these 4 books. Readers also enjoyed As far as an in-depth summary goes, in the middle of an unexpected snowstorm, Claire is driving to pick up her aunt and plans to go to her sister's house to hide in an underground bunker to wait out the storm. Claire's sister Beth calls her and tells her to go back to the house because it is way too dangerous and it isn't safe whatsoever. Claire, closer to her Aunt Marnie's house, decides to follow the original plan and go pick up her aunt and then go to her sister's place. Claire sees a lone car in the middle of a deserted, snowy highway, and then she blacks out. What happened with the blacking out? Why did she black out, and what caused her to crash? Claire wakes up in a Victorian manor where she finds her car has been in a wreck and was found by Doran, who is the owner of Winterbourne Manor. Claire has been unconscious for days, but Doran bandaged up her wounds and has been protecting her ever since. Claire finds slash wounds across her stomach, and she wonders who or what caused them, and why can't she remember the car wreck? The memories come back to her in small bits and pieces. Claire tries to escape Winterbourne Manor and ends up passing out in waist-high snow. Doran saves her from freezing to death and brings her back inside the manor. When Doran shows only good intentions towards Claire, she decides that he isn't dangerous. But it is still odd that the manor has lost all contact with the outside world. Phone lines are down, there is no cell phone service, there are no cars in sight, and there is no one else in the manor besides Claire and Doran. So when Claire decides to explore Winterbourne Manor while Doran is away, she doesn't think that they're the only ones in the manor. And when she sees shadowy figures outside, she wonders who or what they are. Doran shows Claire the greenhouse/garden and says that they're supplied for food in the event that their other rations won't last them. When Doran leaves Claire alone, she goes looking for him and sees a woman in the darkness, but when Doran returns to Claire, the woman is gone, and so is the place where she hid. Claire sees the woman again, and this time she and Doran are sleeping by the fireplace, but Doran, once again, does not see the woman, and Claire feels like she is going crazy. Soon, Claire and Doran have to leave Winterbourne Manor in hopes of getting to Claire's crashed car, and she and Doran get stuck in the middle of a hailstorm this time. When the hail becomes too much for either of them, they run back to Winterbourne, but they can only make it to the guest house, so they're trapped once again, and they're covered in bruises and cuts from the hailstorm. Claire and Doran finally make it back to Winterbourne, but Claire finds out that she has been poisoned with cyanide. So who poisoned her? Because it clearly isn't her, and it clearly isn't Doran, or at least she doesn't suspect it is Doran. Doran thinks that this was a suicide attempt by Claire, but Claire thinks that it was by the ghostly woman that she saw before. We also learn about Doran and his complicated family life, which I am not giving any spoilers about because I want you to read the book too. Anyway, When Claire sees the ghostly figures, she believes what Doran says, that they're delusions, and when Claire decides to face her fears, she goes to find them. She winds up in the greenhouse and finds her and Doran's only food source is all dead. When Doran finds Claire in the greenhouse and is convinced that she did it to make him believe in her delusions, he orders her to leave. Claire leaves Winterbourne Manor in tears and goes to find her car to get to the radio, her only way of contacting her sister and getting someplace else safe. When Claire gets to her car, the memories of the car wreck come crashing back at her. Claire remembers now. She got a call from Beth about the world going dark and that a possible World War III has begun. Beth has a bunker for some reason, and she begs Claire to come stay with her. Claire decides to pick up their Aunt Marnie first, so she could be safe as well. Claire winds up in a quiet zone where the whole area has gone dark. Claire was attacked by the creatures called the Hollows and/or the Hollow Ones, and Doran found her without ever seeing the Hollow Ones. Doran, living in isolation with no contact to the outside world, never knew about the quiet zones or the creatures, so when Claire saw them in Winterbourne Manor, he thought she was turning delusional and crazy from the isolation. Claire is rescued again by Doran, who is apologetic, and when they return to the manor, they are chased by the Hollow Ones. Doran begs Claire to listen to him and run to the manor. She does, and Doran leads the Hollow Ones to the lake beyond the manor, where they all fall into the freezing water beneath the ice. This time, Claire rescues Doran and warms him with her own body heat while begging him not to leave her. I think it's at this moment that Claire falls in love with Doran, but doesn't actually say it aloud. Doran wakes up and apologizes for everything, from not believing her about the creatures to telling her to go, and he asks her to stay, which she does. Claire and Doran head to the bedroom and encounter one more of the Hollow Ones within the manor, but they make it to safety, and Claire knows that there are at least 3 other Hollow Ones inside the manor. Doran tells Claire he loves her without ever saying the words, "I love you," and Claire kisses him, now realizing that she is in love with him as well. So that made my heart soar in happiness because I ship them completely. Doran and Claire go to the attic to seal up the holes that the Hollow Ones made to get into the huge manor, and they discover a secret hallway that leads to another part of the manor, which Doran has never known about. Doran tells Claire that he has lived in Winterbourne all his life, and he never knew that there were any secret passages within his home, and it's crazy to him just as much as it's crazy to Claire. Claire and Doran are then again attacked by Hollow Ones and separated, the creatures taking Claire away from Doran and into another one of the passageways. So where does it go? Below the basement, there is a cavern, and I will not spoil for you who and what are in it, so you'll have to read the rest of the book to find out for yourself. I will end my in-depth summary here and move on to what I thought of the book. As an avid Stephen King fan, my first thought about this book was that the beginning had Misery vibes. A character drives through a snowstorm, gets in a crash, and is rescued by a stranger. However, Doran doesn't mean any harm to Claire, so that's about the extent of the Misery vibe. This book is entertaining, mysterious, and spooky. Those are 3 words that sum up this book in a nutshell. Entertaining because I love a good stuck in the middle of a snowstorm theme. It's mysterious because I was wondering, how did Doran find Claire? What were his truest intentions? And why has Claire forgotten everything prior to the crash? This is also spooky because of the Hollow Ones, and I wondered what caused Claire to crash her car along with the injuries. And if this is like a zombie apocalypse novel, would Claire become one of the Hollow Ones if she was scratched? I am not spoiling that for you either because I want you to read the book as well. This book has a slow build to a passionate romance between Claire and Doran, and it made me ache inside with need, and I was dying to read the scene where Claire and Doran finally admit that they're falling in love with each other. I was not left disappointed, and I am dying for more. The climax of the book was so intense that I was left breathless, excited, and completely and totally enamored with this book. I am hoping you enjoy this book as much as I did, and yes, I do believe that there should be a movie adaptation of Voices in the Snow. As far as ratings go, Amazon rates the book 4.4 out of 5 stars, Audible rates the same, Barnes & Noble rates the book 4.3 out of 5 stars, Booksamillion.com rates the book 5 out of 5 stars, Goodreads rates the book 4 out of 5 stars, and my rating, 10 out of 5 stars. Or at least 5 out of 5 stars, because this book is perfection, and I have almost nothing bad to say about it, except I would have enjoyed maybe one extremely romantic bedroom scene, if you know what I mean, but I'm sure that will come in one of the later books. As far as final notes go, this book is 336 pages, and it will take you about 5 hours and 52 minutes to read. This book was originally published on November 18th of 2018, and as far as bestseller rankings go, this book is ranked number 15 in British horror fiction, and if you know me, I love books with a British theme. I don't know why I do, that's one thing that I can't resist. This is also ranked number 81 in ghost thrillers, and also ranked as number 268 in dystopian science fiction. And if you know me, or if you've seen more of my YouTube videos on different books, you know I cannot say no to a dystopian science fiction book, so the Black Winter series is quite possibly my next obsession when it comes to books. Anyway, that is all for today, so if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to show some support, subscribe to my BookTube channel to get more videos like this, turn on those notifications to be notified when I have a brand new video uploaded. Keep on reading, and have a great day, everyone!